Welcome, audio fans. It's time for another episode of the podcast, presented by J&J Production Studios, your home for entertainment with your favorite shows available every week. And now, it's time to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, good evening. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday night to you all. It is May 10th. We are coming close to summertime, and of course, when the weekend is here, another amazing weekend, you guys know it's time for all new content presented to you by us here at the What's Up Bro podcast show, brought to you by, of course, J&J Production Studios, your one true home for entertainment. So glad you guys are joining us tonight. A little change on the schedule, if you couldn't tell, and I'm going to go over that because you probably can tell. Big Hoss is not with us for the evening. He is out and about with some friends out celebrating, which is always fun. We all love to do that. Birthday celebrations always fun. So we'll have him back tomorrow night. So we figure it's a great chance to get a sports episode in here. We're going to talk NBA playoffs tonight because I've been following the NBA all throughout this last year, or during the season, of course, earlier this year and all through last fall. I always get confused because of how the season runs, so can never keep it straight, but we're going to cover all that. Some surprising things happening, some teams that have stepped up that weren't expected to even be in the playoffs, some of the playoff contenders and the favorites, if you will, to actually win the NBA Finals, seemingly maybe struggling a little bit. What's going on there? It's been quite the shakeup. We're going to get into all that stuff. But before we do, of course, we want to get into you guys also some announcements. First of all, we're going to start saying this now because it is coming up on Sunday. We won't be live during the actual holiday itself. Mother's Day weekend. It is Mother's Day on Sunday, so happy Mother's Day to you all. If you're a mom, happy Mother's Day. It's a great time to celebrate. I know we celebrate Father's Day as well in June, but it's a great time to honor mothers all around the globe. Even the moms that are with us, moms that are not with us, they're still mom. So we want to recognize that and honor each and every single one of you. We are so thankful. We can't even put into words what moms really mean. It's so hard, but we're just so grateful for you all, and I'm so happy to be able to just take this time to commemorate and honor every single mom out there, and as well as dads. Dads comes up on Father's Day next month. Same story, same deal, but just want to help you guys have a great time. Celebrate with moms and grandmas and family. Just have a great time doing that. Hope everybody has a special weekend. It's always amazing. Love those type of holidays. We got a whole bunch of more holidays coming up too, which is always great, but these are moments where it's special and enjoy with family, which is always a great treat and a very blessing in many ways. More ways than one, actually, in a lot of cases. So make the most of that. Hope you guys will do that. As far as other announcements go, we have a lot of things lined up. You guys know there's so much stuff going on. We are still trying to muddle through. Schedules have been crazy. Life has been crazy. If you guys have been listening over the last couple of weekends, especially, too, we've been sharing. Which also I want to mention a special nod tonight too, special dedication, and the reason being I'll explain in a moment. So this episode we are going to dedicate in honor and loving memory of my good friend John, who I shared passed away a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to do that because this is an interesting topic we've been talking a lot about up to this point. He actually been following this up until he passed away a couple weeks ago now. We were making our predictions, talking fun things about the playoffs going on. We love to talk sports, so we did that. So I thought it only fitting, since we're going to cover the playoffs tonight, that we give him an honorable mention there. And I'll give you some of the thoughts that he and I had shared, and we had the same kind of vision and goal point of who we thought was going to win the finals, which I still think has some merit to it. I still think there's a long way to go, obviously. Nothing is set in stone, but it's definitely worth noting. It's going to be interesting, and we're going to dive into all that in just a moment. But especially, I want to attribute this episode to him and that memory there for that. As far as other announcements go, I think out of the ordinary, we're still working on some scheduling. We still have some special guests coming up. We are working to get our good friend Ramsey Veach, who you guys know I train with at Impulse Martial Arts. He is looking to get back on to do another episode of Into the Martial Arts World. We are working on that. Probably going to be sometime around Memorial Day. We are looking at, nothing again is officially set in stone. We are working on setting that up. We also have, of course, our good friends from Pod Z Quad Podcast we are trying to hook up with and get on the show. They will be coming in soon. We're going to have an announcement with that once we have contact with them as well. Mr. J has been in touch with us. He's been very, very busy. That's why there's been no episodes yet of the Sanitarium show. He will be going live again soon, and hopefully we'll be able to get some other episodes for him. We'll get up there as well. Stay tuned. Stay posted for that. You guys, it's worth the wait. I promise you that. The show is absolutely fantastic. If you've not heard anything of the show, you're definitely going to want to wait for it. It's worth it. I can guarantee that 100%. Still working on some special guest appearances. We're keeping in touch with a few people. Nothing is definitive. I can't speak tonight, apparently. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just when the weekend crashes. It's kind of like a Monday for me, too. I can't seem to speak on Monday either. But we're working on that. So many more surprises and more. And, of course, the studio move is still in process, too. I will be in a new location, as I've shared. It's going to give us opportunities to record and do all kinds of fun things for you guys and get more content out, which is what we're trying to do, and that's what we're working towards, and we're going to hope to accomplish that. It's going to help greatly doing that. So there is that. What else do we have right now? I feel like that's about it. We'll have more for you guys down the road. Lots more, in fact. It's just kind of been a weird phase of life right now. We talk about it all the time, and I don't know. I feel like the more I talk about it, we get it out in the open. We try to make sense of it. We try to understand it. No matter what situations are, where we are in life, what happens, there's just some part of us that I feel like we need to understand. We need the answers to life questions. We don't always get that, which you guys may or may not have discovered over the course of your lives, or lives rather. But it's interesting when you ponder that. Now, again, I've have a lot of different thoughts now than I did when I was younger. A lot of us do. I've had a lot of experiences that have, again, for another term using to define it has altered my way of thinking, because so many things have happened that have just made me really tweak a lot of my thought processing. Not major way, but just the understanding of what's happening, why it's happening, etc. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to learn something. It's always good to try and make sense of things, understand. Yeah, I mean, it's life lessons that are very important, very pivotal, and hopefully we learn something from them. But not to get too into the grimness of that. We're here to talk sports tonight, so that's what we're going to dive into. But it's just kind of been a growing period for us too, and you guys know too. You've been listening to us for a while. We've been working hard. We've come a long way. We've made some great strides. We've accomplished so much, and I know there's so much more to go. And a lot of times people ask, what more can you do? What more do you want to do? It's like we always say. There's an old saying: we want to be the best on the air. We want to do what we can. Doesn't mean we're gonna hit that target. Absolutely not. But at the very least, it does mean that we are at the height of it and the peak of it. We are trying to make a name for ourselves and make a statement there. And again, will that make us wealthy beyond our wildest dreams? No, not necessarily. Will it make us famous beyond all recognition and reasoning for whatever rhyme or reason? No. So why do it? And this is a question we get quite a bit at times. So it's just because for love of it, number one, which is usually a common answer for anybody who's passionate about what they do. And you guys know too, our biggest draw that we say is, even if we just reach out and touch one or two people, it still means the world for us, and it still encourages us, that inspires us to do what we do, and to put it in short. So yeah, just some insight, wisdom, and thought for that, just to give you guys some processing there. But it's been quite a lot, and we're thankful, we're grateful, and ultimately it all comes back to you guys. Without the support that you guys have given us and continue to give us, we couldn't do what we do. So thank you, and again, we love you so much, and no words will ever describe what this has been for us, what it is for us, and we hope in the same context, it's that way for you guys as well. So that's our goal. That's our dream, and we want to make the most for you guys. That's why we've invested in things that we've done. We have the website, which is one of probably the latest, and the last big project we really have, which I'm still just super impressed in how this came about and how easy it was to put together. And again, we give a huge shout out, thank you to On Podium for that. Didn't know about it until we were contacted by it. We didn't think much of it at the time. We didn't pursue it. And then we reached out to them again when they created a basic idea for the website, which we could claim for us, which we did. That's what you guys see now when you go into that domain. The custom domain, of course, we changed that too. But, we struggled for a while trying to figure out ideas for the website. Now, the concepts are almost exactly the way we wanted it, minus a few tweaks that we didn't have. But the more we talked to some developers about it, the more we realized too that it might not work out the way we initially planned. So we're just thankful that to have people reaching out to us and giving us the suggestions, recommendations, and even the project itself by viewing that really made a huge impact and a huge staple for us in that regard. So it's things like that, moments like that, that really truly have encouraged us to keep working at it. So just to put that in perspective for you guys, that's just kind of where we're at. But it's been awesome. It's been wonderful, and we can't wait for more. So speaking of that, we're going to get into it here. We're going to get things rolling. We'll probably go to a commercial shortly just to kind of recalibrate. But let's dive in a little bit because I want to do at least an overview here because there's a lot of information to process this. It's some of it's surprising, some of it's not. So we're looking at we're going to focus currently on the teams. We were down to the final, let's see, I think it's 8 teams. Yep. To see who's going to square off to go to the NBA Finals. Some surprising teams, rather. We'll start with this, actually. This is kind of a story I wanted to, and this is going to tie in what my friend John and I had talked about. The very most interesting story, aside from the Boston Celtics being dominant and having a record-setting season, the team that I was concerned most about that could challenge and essentially could dethrone the Celtics, because they had a heck of a year too. I mean, they just were rolling on early, but they just completely fell apart, and I feel like they got the shit kicked out of them by the Knicks coming in, but the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, it's not a criticism, and it's not. I'm not poking fun. I'm not taking shots. It's unfortunate. I never played professional sports, but I played sports in school and stuff. It's never fun to lose, and especially in a setting like this in the playoffs when you're trying to accomplish the goal of winning a championship, and that you come so far. It's like making it to the big games, like the Super Bowl. You get so far, like the teams that lose. They feel so horrible because it's like, well, at least you got there. Getting there is not the point. You want to win it, and to be on the big stage and lose it is just it's absolutely gut wrenching, and it's brutal and it's devastating. So, I can understand the feeling there, but I'm not sure what exactly happened, where the fallout was, because they didn't really lose a lot of steam during the course of the season. I mean, it was touch and go, and I even said that was the threat for Boston. I'm a big Boston fan. I was rooting for Boston to go in there, but I recognize the strengths that Milwaukee had, especially hiring former Celtic great coach Doc Rivers, who won a championship in Boston. He's a great coach, great success rate over the years. So, it was not the whole fact of them, getting knocked out as necessarily, or I always say, teams are riding it really high during the season. They tend to crumble at the wrong time. I wouldn't even say that going to that point of it yet, but the year just sort of ended ultimately abruptly to where I know for sure it's not what we thought. And I honestly thought it would come down to Boston and Milwaukee to see who would be in the NBA Finals representing the East. Obviously the West is still being decided too, but it was really shocking to me in that aspect. I mean, the better teams will win, and the teams that want it more, I mean, again, the teams that make the fewest mistakes, all these variables, all these factors come into play. So that's really the core essential point of it. And I just feel like the Knicks are one of my teams. I'm surprised, like especially coming in last second at the end of the regular season to knock Milwaukee out of the second seed. They became the second seed, overtaking Milwaukee, and just throttle them, big time in the playoff. I mean, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, was it a complete sweep? And I have to go back now. Now I got to do my own research. I'm saying we're not going to do this, and I got to go back. If I can, let's see here. I'll actually pull up. Let's see if I can find it based on. We're going to talk about some new. I know there's some coaching moves, some potential coaching changes that are going to happen. Postseason. Let's see. Okay, that wasn't a complete sweep. So they got to game 6, so they lost 4-2. But I feel like they were down. That's right. I think they came back, and again, kudos to New York. The Knicks really just, they're, I don't know. And this is when teams get scary. I mean, teams you can never count out when they know they have nothing to lose, or when it's crunch time, when they know that their whole season is on the line, especially if it's an elimination game. Things can change drastically. Excuse me. Current update score, if you guys are not following. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves are playing. Nuggets are up 42-25 currently in the second quarter. We're going to get to that too in a little bit. That's interesting too. But yeah, complete unfortunate fallout for Milwaukee. I still think they have a chance next year. They can keep a core of their team together, maybe add a few extra pieces here and there, depending on what their budget looks like and their salary cap situation there. Still could be competitive. I think they're young enough, relatively young anyway. So there is that. But it's a crusher. And New York, I said the Knicks were a team I didn't put a lot of stock in, just because I know that talent-wise, I wouldn't say there's a lot of talent right off the bat there. But sometimes teams will surprise you, and you can never count anybody out. So that's kind of where we're at there for that. But looking at who's left out here, we have the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Boston and Cleveland currently tied. Cleveland upsetting and beating Boston 118-94 last night. They will play again tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ABC. Check that out if you want to watch that. We have the Knicks and the Pacers. The Knicks, again, are leading Indiana 2-0. Now, the Pacers are the 6th seed, so they're not terribly shocking, but New York could be a force to be reckoned with. They are playing pretty well. They've been winning by pretty good points percent. Not by much, but sometimes it doesn't take much to win it there. The Oklahoma City Thunder are squaring off with the Dallas Mavericks. Both teams are tied 1-1. This is another team that I felt like, other than the last team we talked about, mentioned that they're playing is the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Oh, how about the Oklahoma City Thunder? Let's talk about this for a minute. Now, you go back to the day, and this will date me how old I am. I'm the same age as a lot of these guys are still playing. When you had guys like, we had the monster-headed trio back in OKC with Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. All of which who are not playing in the playoffs now. They're all different teams that were eliminated. But it's interesting how the Thunder have really brought talent there to OKC. And I will say, as a Boston fan, I'd love to see Boston win the title this year, but if they end up squaring off against Oklahoma City, I'd love to see the Thunder have a chance to win. They don't have a title for the franchise yet. It would be amazing. But it's just incredible when some teams, when they build, like they call it the superstar, or what do they call it? I think it's called Super Team, actually. When they get all these, like Miami did years ago with LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. You have the expectation, you spend the money, you build these teams, and what you think is going to be a true champion contender, and of course, obviously, it makes sense, especially when you have a lot of teams can't afford to load with superstars like that, but you would think that, and as LeBron said, we're not winning not 1, not 2, not 3, all that stuff. They only won up 2 championships, but you would think with that level of talent, and especially back then when Oklahoma City and those guys, Westbrook, Durant, and Harden, being that young, and They didn't have a lot of other talent around them, but there was still some pieces there that they couldn't win at least one. Obviously, we know KD went and won 2 titles with Golden State. We also know that neither James Harden or Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook actually has. Let me check my math here before. Or let me check my facts here before that. He might actually have 1 title, but see, these guys bounce around. I lose track of them. I don't know for sure. No, he does not. Okay. I know sometimes, like, I want to say a player does not have a championship, but then, you know, they bounce to a certain team. No, he wouldn't, because the Lakers won 2020. Yeah, so, okay. But it's interesting, and like I said, as of now, at least for far as I know, I haven't followed the NBA close enough. I don't follow these teams as much now, because a lot of the guys I know are all retired, not playing. But Oklahoma City does not have really any big names on their squad. So to see them come in at the 1 seed, beating out teams like the Lakers, who are dominant, even the Spurs. The Spurs, though, are in a whole different league now. The days of Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan, and I can go back to even David Robertson. It's a whole new era. So to see them in the basement now, not the Kings on top, it's not shocking there. The Lakers are beginning to feel that. I've said this before. They got eliminated too. LeBron can still play, but he's getting older and he needs help, and clearly the Lakers have not done that. So that's not exactly boding well for inspiration of wanting to win a title. And I know now the big topic is going to be all off season long, and I will probably do the video. We'll do this another episode or podcast about this later on, because it's not a focal point right now. But where will LeBron go? What will he do? Will he come back? Blah 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 blah. Yada yada. Yeah, there's all these type of things. We will cover that at a later time, but the point of it is, Lakers are getting older. They're feeling a change in the wind. A lot of their talent has changed, gotten younger, and so forth. And at some point, whether that's retirement or if he chooses to leave, LeBron will be gone. And they still have Anthony Davis, who's still in his early 30s, still could potentially have some growth and build a team there. But at that point, really, I think their window of opportunity is that ship has kind of sailed, I guess, is the fair assessment to put that into total limelight there. But it's interesting though when you see sometimes when teams, and I'm a big fan of, you got to split it. You have to have some veteran talent, some rookies, but you want to keep yourself competitive. But it's inspiring when you see a team that's young, that's gifted, built with talent, that you maybe not sure. You're not sure if you're going to be. You're going to be a playoff contending team, or you need time to gel. So I like to see that from Oklahoma City, just because it makes a statement there. And now again, will that net them a title? Not necessarily, but time will tell, and we'll see. And I'm not wishing them any ill will. I would love to see them, if they make it and are able to win it all. Fantastic. Best teams are going to make it, are going to win it. So it's incredible to just see that climb up there. And same thing to be said along with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, again, not a lot of major talent, some young stars, but to go up against a team, and they're leading the Denver Nuggets 2-0. And to see them beat up on the Denver Nuggets, who are defending champions currently, is really something inspiring. Now, currently, I think Denver is winning tonight. They're starting to close the gap, though. It's only 45-32. Minnesota could pull this out, but it's really interesting to kind of see these young teams begin to get into the fold and get into the mix. So, and then again, the thing about playoffs, especially playoffs like the NBA or like Major League Baseball or even the NHL and hockey, I mean, the NFL playoffs are usually one game and done for the next round, and then of course the championship's one game. Other series like NBA, there's best 4 out of 7, and so there's a lot of times for things to change drastically, which is where I'm sitting here going, oh, you gotta be kidding, because now Boston lost last night, so the series is tied up. Still think Boston will pull it out in the clutch. They have the talent there. They gotta stay healthy. They gotta come back in, which we'll get into detail in just a minute. But it can be a moment where you really clench your teeth and you go, I don't know, this is gonna be close. You know what I mean? So that's definitely something worth interest there. And you just never know, so you gotta be prepared for anything. But it's definitely been an interesting run so far. And I think it's going to be interesting. And no matter who gets to the NBA Finals, I think it's going to be, I hope it's down to the wire. Even if it goes to Game 7 would be phenomenally fantastic. But we'll dive into that shortly in a little bit. Let's take a short break here, give you guys a little breather. You go grab a snack if you want. You want to check out some scores and stuff on your own, please, by all means do so. Take a bathroom break. I'm going to take one too. I'm going to get a chance to get a little drink, refresh, recharge, and then we'll come back. We'll dive into these playoffs a little bit deeper. We'll look at some upcoming matchups. We'll look at what's there. I'm going to give you guys some predictions based on what we've seen so far, what I think is still going to happen, looking at the stats just as they are. And again, they could change drastically, or it could go a total 180 the other way. But I like to kind of base my assessments off of what I've got right in front of me so far. That's what we're going to do. All that stuff and more. And then we'll talk about some of the we'll dabble a little bit more, like I said, about those off-season questions. Because there seem to be some great stories that are circulating the NBA, even though there are playoffs still going, which a couple of those we'll tie into in just a moment. But stay tuned, plenty more here. This is the What's Up Bro Sports Show, giving you guys a chance to catch up on all NBA action. The basketballs are dribbling on the hardwood. The smell of playoffs are in the air, and the NBA Finals are drawing nearer, with the final 8 teams dwindling down to the final 4. And then, of course, the final 2 who will square off to determine who's the world's best. We'll talk all that and more for your Friday night to give you guys a chance to kick back and relax. Again, as always, it's a great honor and privilege to be here with you guys. We hope you enjoy it as well. It's always something that we always look forward to. We love what we do. We hope you guys love it too. And again, we're just so eternally grateful that you guys are here, and we can't wait to experience more opportunities with you guys very, very soon. Stick around. Don't go away. Plenty more here to come when we come back right after this. Call a timeout. Come to the court side. 30-second timeout. Real quick. We'll re-strategize, reanalyze, and dive back in. See what happens next. Come on back. Stay tuned.
Hey audio fans, are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Hey there, do you love podcasts? Are you having difficulty finding the right ones to listen to? Is it frustrating when you're trying to pick that show? You know, the one where everyone must collectively agree on? Like finding a good movie or TV show to watch, do you look for the most jam-packed entertainment that's possible to find in a single episode every week? Then search no more, and welcome to J&J Production Studios. It's our business to provide the best entertainment and information available for you. Whether you're sitting in that comfy chair with your favorite snack and beverage listening live each week, or downloading your favorite show episodes to take with you on the go while you're at work, exercising, or even just to play at night for you to fall asleep to. There's something for everyone, no matter what size, shape, or age you are. Visit www.linktree.com/J_J Production Studios to find all the streaming services where our podcast shows can be found. You can also connect with us on your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. You can join our public Discord server and chat directly with us. But wait, there's more. You can subscribe to our official YouTube channel and be notified every time a new show is broadcast. Wish you could have some studio souvenirs or collectibles? Guess what? You can. Visit the official store where you can purchase items featuring your favorite podcast and show hosts. Would you like to help support us? You can do that by getting your very own exclusive membership on our Patreon account. All proceeds go to help us upgrade our shows, which will only enhance the entertainment provided to you. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you as an audience. Your love and support are always appreciated. We'll see you soon.
break time is over. We're so glad you stayed tuned. Now back to the action as the show is set to resume.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for being patient, waiting there. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Tonight is the What's Up Bros Sports Show, brought to you, of course, by the one and only J&J Production Studios, your one true home for entertainment. We are talking NBA playoffs here. I am flying solo tonight. It is, of course, Sam Crow, as always, here with you guys. Love being here. Big Hoss will join us tomorrow night. He is out partying with some friends tonight. Good for him. Hope he's having a great time there, celebrating a birthday, which is always fun. Gives him a chance to get out a little bit as well, so hope the best for him, but he'll be back. So I figure there's a great chance we wanted to do another episode here, and of course you guys know we are working to get other episodes out. We want to get content out regularly, and a lot of that, and a big part of that is going to be the ability to have the new workspace, which I mentioned to you guys. If you didn't hear that, I'll mention to you again. Moving studio space locations for me to a more permanent, I guess, location, a more suitable location? I'm not sure. In a better location, in my own personal office space. That way, we can provide you guys better content at different times without disturbing anybody else in the household. Can record. It'll be a much better place to record quietly, especially for the ASMR episodes. We want to get more of those out. Law and Justice Show, more episodes coming there as well. Lots and lots of more great content coming out on a regular basis for you guys. We promise. Again, it's just scheduling, everything going on. It's been crazy, crazy busy. We're just fortunate to get episodes out over the weekend for you guys right now, but we will be changing that. We guarantee and promise you that. With that being said, though, let's dive back in here. And, of course, again, if you're coming into the episode midway here, you can go back and check it out. It'll be available. Catch everything we've talked about so far, and thus you can kind of play it backwards, I guess, too, if you want to work backwards. Start at the end. It's like reading the end of a book and starting at the beginning, which I know, that sounds kind of weird, Sam. It does. But wouldn't it be fun? Because traditionally we always read books from the beginning to the end, so why not work backwards, right? But again, at your own leisure and at your own discretion and at the pleasure of whatever you choose to do. So we're going to actually wrap up here pretty soon too, because of course we don't do super long episodes with these. Give us a chance to it'll also give us the opportunity to prepare for tomorrow as well. But I do want to kind of begin to wrap things up talking about this. We're going to talk about, again, we talked about current teams. Updating too, it is halftime now. The Nuggets lead 56-41 over the Timberwolves. The New York Knicks lost to the Indiana Pacers 111-106. So the Pacers slowly clawing back. Will they actually make it? Time will tell. We'll have to see. But looking at some final projections, based on the teams that are left and where we're at standing wise, I want to give you guys some thoughts. It's going to be hard. I don't think we're going to project a winner yet. That will probably save for another episode when we actually know who's going to make it to the NBA Finals. But I at least want to start with that to narrow these 8 teams down to the final 2. Now, let's kind of start at the lower end. I know some of the obvious choices I kind of have here, but I want to look at this based on how we're doing here. So let's currently start with the game going on. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Minnesota does lead by 2. I personally felt going into this, just seeing how they were playing near the end of the regular season, I feel like Minnesota is going to knock out Denver. Now, it's not a knock against Denver. Denver was my pick in the West Conference going out that way. I still think there's always a chance they could pull it out and could come back. Again, it's still early. It's only if they win tonight, 2-1, so it's still manageable. But I just feel like, I don't know, Minnesota, a lot like Oklahoma City, was beginning to surge at the right time near the end of the regular season. So it would not shock me, and it's not going to shock me, and that's why I'm projecting this, that Minnesota will be the winner of this series, and they will move on. And again, Denver's had a remarkable run too, and if they make it, great, but I just feel like it's time for at least Minnesota, at least for this series yet, to continue on, and that's going to be my prediction. So I'm going to say at this point, let's see, assuming Denver does win tonight, it'll be 2-1. I'm going to say 4-2. I'm going to say Minnesota wins the series 4-2, because I think Denver has another win in them yet, at least. Could be more, we'll see, but that's where I'm going with that route. So that means Minnesota will be one of our final 4 teams that will finish. And then the top spot here, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks. Mavericks coming back and winning Game 2. Again, Game 3 is tomorrow afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Check that out on ABC. Again, I think I think Dallas is going to keep this interesting, but I got to give it to Oklahoma City. And as I mentioned earlier in the episode tonight, I just feel like same thing like Minnesota, young talent, and they're surging, and they prop themselves up to be the number 1 seed. They've got home court advantage throughout the playoffs, a lot like the Celtics do in the Eastern Conference. So I like the Thunder here. Again, I'm kudos to Dallas for winning, and again, it wasn't by much, but they're still winning. They still won, and they're keeping the series tight. So as it stands 1-1, I'm also going to give this a 4-2 win for the Thunder. I think Dallas at least can pull out one more. Let's see, where are they at? Oh, they're at Dallas tomorrow. That could actually be a win there. Let's see, win there. That means the Thunder probably will win it at Dallas because they need at least 2 more wins. So unless they win tomorrow and they win... Yeah, I think it's going to end probably in Dallas ultimately. But yeah, so I'm going to say the Thunder is going to match up. So that means the title matchup, which we'll talk about for the West, will be between the Oklahoma City Thunder at the number 1 seed and the Minnesota Timberwolves at the number 3 seed, knocking off the Denver Nuggets, the number 2 seed. Now in the East, again, obvious lead here, but I kind of want to give them some advantage. It looks like Indiana might win tonight, so they'll come in. I do like... I'm sorry, did they play tonight? They play... Yeah, that's the final. Oh, it's just not credited here. Yeah, so it's 2-1. So, when do they play again then? Probably Monday then, right? They play Sunday. I'm sorry, I'm a day ahead of myself. Sunday afternoon, yep. So, it's going to be 2-1. I'm going to say this is going to be 4-1. I think the Knicks are they are surging now, and again, there's no explanation other than hard work and determination. So keep it short and sweet. I think the New York Knicks will be our first winner. We're going to mark in for that. Which leads us to my top team, my favorite team here, the Boston Celtics up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And again, kudos to Cleveland for winning last night, and in pretty spectacular fashion. Boston beat them up the first game, 120-95. Cleveland comes back and wins 118-94. So they kind of gave Boston a taste of their own medicine there. I still like Boston to win the series. Again, Cleveland's young, they got talent, but I just feel like Boston, as long as they stay healthy, they still have, with Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White has been on fire there. Incredible Drew Holiday, Daniel Pritchard, is it Daniel Pritchard, the backup guard there? Al Horford, of course. All these guys, they're playing tremendously, and again, they just have to stay healthy, but I think they'll pull it out. So I'm going to say this will probably be a 4-1 series. Again, Cleveland might surprise, could be 4-2. But I like Boston to win it out since they have home court advantage. And I think they will pull it out at the end. So that means our final 4 then would be, and since Boston is the higher seed, would still hold the home court advantage. Number 1, Boston Celtics would host the number 2 New York Knicks. And Oklahoma City, being the number 1 seed in the West, will host the number 3 seed, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is where this gets interesting. My ultimate projection, I can't say for sure how the series will play out. I'm liking an NBA Finals of the Celtics and the Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 1 seeds, at least at this point. But if the matchups favor the way I think they're going to favor there, and the Knicks and the Timberwolves are still invested, there could be an upset there. Which team will do it and why? That is really hard to break it down, but it's just always inevitable in any sort of sports that somebody is going to upset someone else. And we know it's due, it's never a guarantee, but I feel like it's going to come to be the case. Honestly, I don't know. I hate to jinx it and I hate to say it, but I think the upset would come from Boston. I feel like my thing was, and I always said to John when we talked about it, which he agreed with me too, was Boston's got to stay healthy. If they don't stay healthy, their chances go significantly down. Now, Porzingis has been out. He's been having issues the latter part of the season with an ankle injury. So, if they lose guys like White or Holiday, or they lose any combination of these Tatum and Brown, these other guys I'm thinking of between Tatum and Brown, they have the talent there. But if anybody else gets hurt, it's a recipe for disaster. And because of how hot the Knicks have been lately, I could see them taking the crown away from Boston. That's just going to be my surprise upset. Could Minnesota dethrone Oklahoma City? It's possible, and I'd love to see that. I think those are two great hot young teams that can duke it out and have a huge slugfest to see who really is the king of kings and top of tops dogs in the NBA conferences, respectively. But that's my prediction at this point. I think the Boston Celtics and the Oklahoma City will square off in the finals. And it's going to be mixed feelings for me because, again, I'm really rooting for Boston as the team I love there to root for. But I won't be disappointed if Oklahoma City wins just because they don't have a title in the town yet, and they've been waiting for a long time. So, but again, if they don't make it, that'll help ease my feelings and pain a little bit more too. So either way, I'm covered, but that's my hope. So if you guys hear the episode here and you want to leave a comment on social media or comment on this episode there, by all means, let us know, or let me know too. I'd love to hear your thoughts and predictions there. Again, anything can happen. There's still plenty of time, still plenty of games left, and all it takes is one or two changes that can drastically alter the outcome of a game. So don't write anything off. But it's been exciting. It's been anything we hope for in any sport specifically, but you want that excitement. And if you're a fan of any of these 8 teams, the best of luck to all of you guys. Again, it's just to have fun. And, I'd love to see any of these teams really win because I know the Knicks have had titles, but they haven't won one for a while. Same thing with Boston. Cleveland hasn't won one for a while. Oklahoma City doesn't have one. Only one I'm not saying so much for Denver just because they won last year. So I'd like to see either Oklahoma City or Minnesota get in there. Minnesota would be great because they don't have one either. But at the end of the day, we want great games to be played, and we want to see these players that we watch and that we I don't want to say idolize over, but that we look up to and that we respect and all that sort of thing. We want to see them provide for us the best entertainment possible, right? That's like any sport. Anything we watch, we hope for that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely do more of this. We'll update as we get into the finals. Probably do like a finals special when we know who the 2 teams are, break it down game by game, and we'll see how that goes there. Oh, before I forget, and actually we'll end with this. I nearly forgot that, and thank you for reminding me, Sam. You're very welcome, Sam. There you go. Just want to cover quickly here some of the highlights from the off-season stories that have been circulating. Again, these are just some things that are floating around. Nothing's definite, nothing's definitive, but these are some of the top stories in the NBA. I'm going to pull this up from ESPN to make sure. I think they're still on there. So let's see what kind of news we are dealing with here. Let's see here. I hope this doesn't play. Is this going to play? It is. Bear with me just for a moment. Actually, we can talk about this one because I know this is probably not going to be top news, but so we talked a little bit about this, and I just want to comment just briefly because, again, this is going to go on all summer long, and I've heard some predictions, and I am definitely more in favor of the more likely scenario that's going to happen, but the LeBron watch is on. LeBron James had a very short, very candid exit press conference when the Lakers were knocked out of the playoffs. So the question circulating is, what will LeBron do? I think, first off, we're not going to dive into this category. Just going to say right off, he will play probably next year. I think that's almost a foregone conclusion. I know he said to talk to family about it, make a family decision, but I believe that will be the outcome there. Then the big question is, will he stay with the Lakers? He's due a big payout contract, which the Lakers will definitely pay him. There's also talk the Lakers could draft LeBron's son, Bronny, LeBron Jr., to play, which, LeBron had said in the past that was a big deal for him. He has changed his stance on that recently, but that's a possibility. All these sorts of things, all these rumors and things flying around out there. So let's put it this way. I think once the dust settles and clears, I think LeBron does remain in LA at least another season. Whether or not Bronny ends up there or not, or he goes back to play for another college team, don't know. But I don't think that's going to really impact that decision too much based on what LeBron's saying. So there's that. But you never know. I mean, it's always a possibility that things could drastically change as well. So That's just a gut instinct at this point. So we'll have to see how that plays out. That's going to follow all throughout the summer. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a quick and easy answer, but I think a decision will come sooner than later, just to kind of wrap things up. I don't think LeBron will drag it out. He hasn't done it in the past. Don't think he will start doing that now. Some of the topics were some coaches were fired. Frank Vogel was fired. Darvin Ham, the coach of the Lakers, was fired. With the Suns' exit, Frank Vogel is out, and the hot topic story was Mike Budenholzer, I think is how you say his name. And I apologize if I'm butchering it. I don't know let's see if it's on their website, because it's got to be a topic that was been talked about. Let's just see. Budenholzer. Oh, and apparently I should probably check my updates there. It was reported that Mike Budenholzer was the top prospect for the Suns to be their next head coach. And according to reports from earlier, which I did not check and pre-read, because again, we're talking on the playoffs, but according to sources on ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Mike Budenholzer agrees to a 5-year deal to coach the Suns, which again comes as no surprise, since it was reported instantaneously that this was probably was going to happen. Let's see, I'm just joining some of the articles to kind of get some highlights there. So good move, not sure, we'll see. Again, the Suns, another team that I actually had in the contention. I don't know if they would go necessarily all the way to the finals, but I figured they would be a force to be reckoned with, a team that was going to be quite the challenge and maybe upset some other of the big teams out west. They got eliminated, and I know that's the thing. No matter what sport it is, too, there's pressure from all sides for coaches to have success. Some teams have the understanding of we're rebuilding, we're restarting, reshaping, so it might take a little bit. Others are pushing of they want results right away. So there's all these factors and these variables that go into it. So it's not shocking that Phoenix making this move just makes sense for them. Milwaukee, the Bucks did it during the season, bringing in Doc Rivers when their season wasn't going what they thought. So sometimes teams have to make those choices, but will it pay off in the long run? Time will tell, but I think Phoenix has some talent there too. I think they can come back from it. It's just a matter of, does the team stay together? Can they draft properly? Can they lure some other free agents there? Possibly. I mean, playing out in the desert always sounds attractive, with the weather being very mild out that way, from what I understand. I've never been to Arizona, but I've heard it's a very pleasant place to play out and be out, so could be an attractive factor for some free agents. Not sure. Either way, teams have to make decisions. They have to make moves. They just have to find some way to re-spark, re-engineer, and reinvigorate the home base fans, to keep that passion going. And again, truth be told, just a few moves, tweaks here and there, I think Phoenix has the opportunity to be a playoff contending team again. But we'll have to see how that goes. So time will tell. Plus, the NBA draft will be of interest too for a lot of people. We'll see how that shapes the future stars that come in to play with current stars, and if that shakes up the overall status of who wins the NBA championship and the NBA finals. So time will tell. We'll have to see, but that's what everything looks like there. And that's just some of the stories going around. We'll continue to update you guys, and we'll talk more as things continue to happen, but that's kind of where we're at there. And some interesting things, interesting stuff going on. We are also going to be covering some baseball and football down the road too. We got all kinds of things going. So the nice thing about sports is they just sort of circulate and re-intertwine with each other, so there's always something going on we can do. It's not so much college sports. I'm not a big fan of that. Not a lot of us are, so we can't do that. But everything else we can get you guys covered with, we will do that. And we'll talk more down the road as we get towards the finals. And of course, we have plenty of content coming from the other shows as well, which we hope you guys will look forward to and enjoy, because we enjoy bringing that for you all. So there we go. I didn't miss anything. Got it all covered. And actually, we still made it out to about our normal time anyway, even though I wanted to end early. I did not want to not forget to mention these topics, just because it's all incorporated with this episode tonight, which I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you're watching the playoffs yourselves, I hope you're enjoying it as well. I do try to catch it occasionally on TV, but not much. But it's also a great time to sit down and relax, chill with family and friends. So if you do that, don't stress about it. Just have a good time and have that quality and that time spent with one another to just make the most of it. So Just because, and again, I said we dedicate this show to my good dear friend John, who's no longer with us there. Time is always precious. Time is crucial. So we hope that for all of us here, too, that you will maximize the opportunities. We say it over the holidays, like Christmas and Thanksgiving and those special times when families meet, but it's more prevalent now more than ever, especially if you have loved ones who are aging and, you don't know. We don't know. None of us are guaranteed a tomorrow. So we just hope that you guys will enjoy each other, love each other, and just make precious memories. I guarantee, and I trust me when I say that, especially if you're younger, if you have children, these will be the things that they will carry with them the rest of their lives. It will help, and especially coping with those when your loved ones are gone. So we hope that for that, and we hope you guys have a blessed weekend too. We'll be back tomorrow night. The What's Up Bro show will be here. Our main show will be back on again. Unless something else changes, we'll maybe pick something else. We'll do a different podcast episode. We'll see. But as of right now, that's the plan. We'll see you guys same normal time. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Have a happy and wonderful, safe Saturday. Go out and play some of your own sports if it's a nice day, if it's not raining. Or go fishing. Fishing's been a huge thing. John loved to go fishing. He'd be out doing that now with the weather, if the weather was better. So make the most of that. Go have fun with it and just enjoy life, living it. The nice weather coming up. But we'll talk more, you guys. It's so wonderful to hang out with you. Can't wait to do it again tomorrow. And happy sport watching. If you're not watching basketball, you're watching something else. I know there's all other kinds of sports you can watch. Whatever you choose to watch, enjoy it. If you love it, you're passionate about it, don't fault you for that whatsoever. Just make that your safe and quiet time where you can relax, reflect, and just escape the pressures of everyday life, which we all need to have that once in a while, which is why we love that wonderful thing called the weekend when we can do that on a regular basis. So until tomorrow, you guys, for all of us here at J&J Production Studios, this is the What's Up Bro Sports Show. Here's to the NBA playoffs. Best of luck to all these teams out there still competing. We'll see who the winner is, who comes out on top, what happens next. We'll keep you guys posted. Make sure you follow us, linktree.com/J_J Production Studios. All links to our social media accounts are there. All streaming services where our podcast shows can be found, including the most recent edition of the What's Up Bro website, jnjproductionstudios.com. Check it out. You can click the link on our link tree. It'll take you right to that page. Interact there. You can also listen to episodes of the show. You can catch all other episodes on the YouTube channel. It's great. If you want to be a guest on the show, there's a guest form page. Send that in. We'll email you. We'll contact you once we review it. We'd love to have people join us on here. So many great things you can check out. Read our our weekly blogs on there. So much stuff you can explore with. And of course, as always, we'll try to keep you guys posted. If you're following us on all social media platforms, you'll definitely won't miss a single second. And lastly, remember, even on Linktree and even on the website, if you want information sent directly to you, make sure you sign up for our email notifications. That way you'll be notified of all things that come out of the studio, most notably and including brand new episodes of our shows when they come out, when they're released, so you won't miss a single moment. Happy Friday, everybody. Good night. Love you all so much. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. And of course, as always, and you guys know, but we say it anyway just because we like to remember it, until next time, when we see you at the show.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Be sure to check J&J Production Studios on Linktree for all the streaming services and social media accounts where our shows are featured. We love and appreciate all your support. And as always, until next time, we'll see you at the show.